Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's Friday. So happy it's Friday. Hope you guys are all doing well. We are um talking about the do's and don'ts of the travel basic and the Foxtrot. Right? We covered that this week. We did the box as well as the travel basic. So within that, we covered footwork, we covered timing, and we covered poise. I think those three things are really important to start incorporating into your steps as you're practicing them. So if you're not doing that already, please do that. Um, and okay, let's talk about the box. So I think when people are executing the box, they get too fast. And this happens in the waltz too, actually. So when you're executing your forward side close step, a lot of times what will happen is we will drift into our back step before we have fully finished the closing and the changing of the weight. And that causes a lot of bad habits. Okay. It's going to make you pull the lady. It's going to put you in the wrong poise, right? Remember, we want to have forward poise when we're moving backwards, right? So if you are already moving backwards while you're coming down, your lower half of your body is coming down, but your head is moving back. So now look, you've got this weird poise, okay? And when you got a backwards poise almost instead of having the forward poise. So make sure when you're doing your quick or your 2-3, if you're doing the waltz, that you're finishing that second quick completely, lowering down into your foot completely before you move backwards. Okay. The same thing goes if you are deciding to travel it and you're doing that stair stepping forward forward side close. Make sure you finish that side close first. Okay. This is just as important for the follows as it is the leads. Leads, you are the first thing moving it. So if you don't do it, your partner is not going to do it. So it's really important for you. And then follows, even if your lead is doing it, but you are not, guess what? Now you're pushing him around. You're doing what we call anticipating, right? Even though you're not trying to anticipate, you're really just not finishing the last step that you did. So sometimes you're dancing with somebody and they're like, "You're back leading me, you're anticipating." And you're like, "I'm really not. I'm really not thinking at all." That's probably all that's happening. You're just not finishing the prior action before, right? You're just moving too fast. Okay. So I really think that's the number one thing. Finish each and every single step first before you start moving into the next step. And this is so important as the lead and as the follow. Because if you don't do it, snowball effects and bad habits start to happen. And then you start trying to fix those snowball effects, and things just aren't working. And really, you have to go all the way back to the very beginning and realize that you're not even finishing your step. So do that. Okay. This is number one problem that I see. It'll save you a lot of headache in the future if you start with that. Let's see. Travel. Let's think about the traveling basic. Um, for beginners, if they haven't been taught, um, if when you're going backwards in the basic, to peel your toes off the floor first. I see a lot of that. So make sure that you are peeling the toes off the floor if you're walking backwards, right? You're not leaving the toe stuck on the floor. Okay. That's going to help your poise, going to help your balance, and going to help your lead feel confident that he's not going to step on you and that you're getting out of their way. That being said, leads, you have to come in with a confident heel lead. If you're not coming in with a confident heel lead and you're sneaking in with your toes, your follow's not going to feel you and they're not going to get out of your way. Okay. So you have to fake it until you make it, even if you don't feel confident, even if you feel like you're going to step on those toes. Strong frame, elbows in front, move your whole spine, step with the heel first every time. Every time. Okay. So confident heel leads and purposeful toe. Okay. Um, let's see. And honestly, this really isn't something to do as like executing those steps, but as far as how to practice them. So Foxtrot, you do have those two timings. And I think a lot of people stay in the travel timing for too long and they get used to the slow, quick. both as a lead or and follow. Then when you're trying to add in the new timing, it's kind of hard because you're stuck and you practice so much in the one timing. So I highly recommend when I teach beginners, I'll maybe 1 week I'll teach them the travel basic. That very next week, I'm already teaching them the new timing, the box timing. Okay. And then we're practicing changing from travel basic to a box, travel basic to a box, so that we can practice communicating that timing, changing, and being confident with it. Because confidence is really the key to everything. If you do something without confidence, it's not going to be communicated well. And then they're not going to follow well, right? Or lead well. And then it falls apart. And now you feel like it's your fault. So stay confident with it. Practice the basic, then the box, the basic and the box, just switching back and forth between the two. Even as a follow, even if you don't have a lead leading you, just do it on your own, just to get your body used and comfortable changing that timing, knowing it's okay, so that you don't go into like mode and lower your head and then start trying to think your way through the dance instead of feel it. Okay. So remember, the first and foremost thing is to finish your steps. Finish your steps before you start the next one. That's what we talked about first. Of course, we got to have our poise, our footwork, and our posture going on. Okay. We also talked about practicing the two timings back to back. And really, that's been it. So, yeah, that is it. Remember, if I haven't taught the rotating part of the box yet, but if you're skipping ahead and trying to rotate that box and also move down the floor, keep in mind you can't do two in a row. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Without learning your alignments and how it goes, you're going to be forcing things that aren't really even supposed to be done that way. So you're going to be pulling and dragging your partner. So just don't do it. You're going to have to do a left box and then a right box, a left box and then a right box. Okay, so stick to maybe the traveling box right now instead of the rotating box until you've learned how to use your alignments and to keep that moving down the floor without getting stuck in one spot or pulling on your partner, either as a lead or follow. Okay. Because I see that a lot. I see that way too much. I see people take off, try to do a left box turn, and then they try to do another one and try to get around to the same exact spot. And it's just not the way it works, guys. It just doesn't work that way. So try to get that out of your head if you're starting to think that. Use the travel box, not a rotating box, to get down the floor. Okay. You think about the rotating box more to use it in the corners to change your direction. Okay. That's it though. I got to get going. And but I will see you guys next week. And what are we doing next week? I believe it's the rock turn, the left rock turn. So we'll see you on Monday at 3:00 for that. We'll go over the elements, okay? Keep dancing, keep learning, and keep smiling. How about that? Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.